So, in answer to your question about what's the right way to a good integrated plan, it's actually quite simple. There are essentially 6 steps, and I can't emphasize how important the first one is. And the first one is essentially starting out right, which is setting the right goal. This is really, really critical because the goal that you set needs to be completely, realistic. It needs to be in the realm of possible, but at the same time, it needs to be ambitious. What you cannot have is a goal in the name of ambition that ends up becoming completely ludicrous. So I think you've heard it so often. Well, start is half begun. The important thing is to get the right start, and that essentially means setting the right goal. This is a critical step, and it's really, really difficult, but it's absolutely essential. We need to make sure that the goal that we set for ourselves is realistic, but without losing sight of it being ambitious. And what often happens is in the whole, thought of being ambitious, people may get carried away and put together a goal that's actually not attainable and sometimes maybe even ludicrous. So setting the goal is absolutely critical. In the second step, what I would suggest is what we need to do is be very clear on what our single-minded message is. It's the same thought that needs to be communicated across many, many different touch points. And the touch points will vary depending on which category we're talking about, who we're talking to and so on. But the message needs to be absolutely single-minded. The third area, and this can become quite tricky, is in the area of using data. We all know, and we hear it so often, that data is the next oil, and there's so much data around us. That's absolutely true. We must use data not just to set our goals, but also later as we evaluate the work that we're doing and so on. But it's very important to make sure that when we're using data, we do not get kind of caught up. Because of the abundance of data, it's very easy to get paralyzed or to even get sidetracked. So make sure that we use data in the right way. The fourth and very important point also is there needs to be a clarity of decision making. And what happens in most of the organizations now. You have multiple stakeholders, we have matrix structures and so on, and that can often lead to a certain level of ambiguity in who takes the final call. And this is where it all has to come down to a single person who is empowered and entitled to take a decision. So that clarity of decision making absolutely needs to be there. The next area that I think we need to keep in mind is we need to be able to course correct when it's necessary. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not an exact science. Not everybody has all the answers. And therefore, when we realize that perhaps we've got a bit sidetracked, or maybe we haven't examined all the options, it's very important to be able to course correct when necessary. The next thing, and again, I can't stress this enough, is get the right people in the room, get the right experts, and then kind of move out of the way and let them do the jobs. Right? Don't try to second guess. Let the experts do their bit. And I think the last and the most important thing is you absolutely have to stay the course. In today's day and age, everything moves very quickly. The way we start out with the plan that we had in mind, the actions that we wanted to take, many times there might be situations that come up that we never considered. Many times we may face a backlash. Many times we may run into some objections that we never thought would come up. What's important in that sense is to stay true to the course that we have. Do not get sidetracked. Do not get kind of bogged down by objections that come up, unless of course they're very valid. But essentially have the courage to stay true to what you had in mind. And I think that's what, if you put it all together, would result in a plan that actually works.